could be sitting in the Hall of Fame and the world will know your name. Good evening and welcome to Personality Profile here on Joy 99.7 FM. I'm Lexus Bill, and you know, when I take my seat on Thursdays, it means that we've got an amazing gentleman or lady or a wonderful guest in the studio. Of course, one whose journey we would want to tell and learn from. And this evening, I have one such amazing guest for you. So sit back, relax, and let's enjoy almost an hour of good conversations here on Personality Profile. This conversation is live on our Facebook and YouTube pages. You can actually check it out. You can share it in your WhatsApp groups and tell your friends and family about it as well. You'd love to know about my guest. Yes, thank you so much for tuning in. So this evening, I'm actually taking you back to Parliament, just like we did last week. You know, 2025 started on a very different note for many people. For a select few, they started new roles as members of Parliament, representing various constituencies in the country, a position that they aspired for, campaigned, and eventually won elections to take up. Well, my guest tonight is also a first-timer in Parliament, a vision that has taken probably well over a decade to see come to fruition. I'll tell you about him. He's a natural resources and environmental lawyer with over 15 years experience cutting across commercial, advisory, academia, and consultancy settings. He has a very strong understanding of laws governing Ghana's energy, environment, land, and natural resources sector, and demonstrated exceptional leadership and integrity as board member of 6 government and private organizations across oil and gas, insurance, finance, and education. He's a lawyer who has worked for the Energy Council for Global Gas Energy USA in Houston. He's a general counsel. He actually worked as a general counsel at Jando Asma and Co. And he's a partner at Darko, Kelly Delata and Co. Ghana as well. And he's a lecturer. Yeah, he has lectured in environmental law at Mount Crest University, company law as well at GIMPA, and environmental and natural resources law at GIMPA. He has consulted on many projects, including World Bank Group as well, on the laws governing Ghana's water sector, and implemented a 3-month project to develop a draft of Ghana's environmental sanitation bylaws to empower Ghana's 260 MMDAs in promoting sanitation at the local governance level. He served as a board member of Ghana Gas Company. He spent many years working for the people of the Suame constituency, and in the last elections in December 2024, he actually won the elections to represent Suame constituency in Parliament. Now, when he's not in the chambers or probably in Parliament, then he's on the tennis court whipping me mercilessly with monstrous forehands and backhands. Literally Ghana's answer to Novak Djokovic.
That's a lie.
Lawyer John Darko is my guest of Personality Profile. I don't lie about it. And I've got witnesses.
That last part was a lie. He's been raping me.
No. I've got witnesses. I know the folks at Atomic Tennis Club, Akwe and Albert and Co. They will attest to the fact that you have a very monstrous forehand, which some of us are afraid of. But hey, good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's good to see you here.
Yes.
It's great to be on this show. This is a very important platform. I don't take it lightly.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here because you've had a very interesting journey, and I need to say congratulations to you. I'm sure it feels good to be member of Parliament now, doesn't it?
Well, of course it does. After many years of struggling to get in.
Yeah.
But the weight of the office starts getting to you, and you're in for a long journey.
I see. I thought it would be all roses around this time. You know what I mean? Like, you know, you're getting the whole honorable. You know what I'm saying? They're opening doors for you in Parliament. You know, they're saluting you. I mean, it should feel good, huh?
But for me, I don't think those things really matter. What should feel good for me is if I'm able to work to impact the lives of my people, especially the people of Suame. Salute, even drivers, and the whole honorable thing don't really mean anything to me. I mean, looking at where I'm coming from, those things don't mean anything to me at all. It's been a struggle to get to where I am, and so I appreciate all those little things. But they don't define me at all.
Interesting. I mean, and I need to emphasize how long the journey has been, because you have been at this for what? How many years?
Yes, I mean, well over a decade.
Well over a decade. Trying to be member of parliament for Suame constituency.
Yes. In fact, the whole journey started way back, let's say about 2013, 2012, 2013, after the 2012 election.
Yeah.
I decided that I would represent my people. In fact, even before that, I was actually working in the States, and I decided that, look, this is not where I belong. After my LLM in Houston, I decided that, look, I worked in the States for about a year and a half, and I decided that, look, I need to go back home and serve my people. So I came back sometime around 2011, and so 2012, after the election, I started preparing for this. And when you are preparing to contest the primaries in a stronghold, you have a very small target group or audience, and that is where I started focusing, dealing with them, talking to them, sharing my visions with them. At the time, before the 2015 primaries, they were just about 500. By the time we got to the 2020, the number of delegates to reach out to had reached 964.
Wow.
So 2024, last year, January, when we had the election, I had to directly appeal to these 964 people and ask them for help. So it hasn't been easy.
The Suame constituency is quite interesting because that's actually the seat of one of Ghana's longest-serving members of parliament, Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu, who decided to retire.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Probably one of the reasons why you couldn't even get the seat back in the day, because you were going against a stalwart.
Yes.
And it was really tough to unseat somebody like Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu.
Yeah, of course. I mean, he had done so well in parliament and for himself, to the extent that in the 2015 primaries, we had the opposition MPs coming to campaign for him. It got to that point that Muntaka, Babin, and some of our folks, including Dr. Matthew Poku Prempe, spent a lot of time in Suame constituency to campaign for the Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu. And so, yes, because of that, I couldn't win that election. I really wanted to win it then, but I lost. In fact, I placed third.
Okay.
But
that was 2015, right?
2015, yes.
And I remember pardon me. I remember in 2020, I think at some point you actually decided to even pull out of the race.
Yes, because I believe the party had made a decision that contesting Honorable Kyei Mensah at the time for them was bad business. I don't know why, but they just decided that they were not even going to give me the forms.
They decided not to give you the forms at all?
They decided not to give me the forms. In fact, I hope my chairman is listening. The chairman who's actually told me, the lawyer, I'm not giving you the forms.
Are you serious?
And it's because he knew that if he gave me the forms, they were going to be able to disqualify me, and so they won't give me the forms. And you see, per the rules of our party, if you go to the constituency and you don't get the forms, you go to region. If you don't get the form from region, you go to national. So I went through all that process from the constituency, from region. I came to national. I met now my very good friend, and the director of election events, Nimako, and he told me that, lawyer, you know what? You're not going to get a form.
Are you serious?
We are not going to allow you to contest the Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu.
Wow.
He gave me a good advice then. He said, you know what? This thing, you can wait your time. Don't rush. And I took it in good faith, even though it was very painful.
Right.
So after all is said and done, I had to issue a letter.
Yes.
And very eventually ended with Mr. Hakimodu Swajman, the chairman of our Council of Elders, who met me and Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu, and eventually impressed upon me to step down. And so I did that, and I issued a letter, to that effect.
How did you feel at that time? What did you think was going on? Did you think that they were probably taking something away from you?
Honestly speaking, it was painful, But I decided to take it easy because I felt that from what the party leadership was saying, they felt that at the time it was better to keep Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu in Parliament. And so I was willing to take one for the team.
Okay.
As painful as it was, I decided that I would do that and not go independent as people were pushing me. And for me,
you had the suggestion of going independent?
Oh yeah, a lot of people were pushing me from the constituency, but I thought that was a bad advice because it's not as if I told them, my friends who were asking me to go independent, that look, it's not that I want to be an MP at all costs. I am an NPP person and I want to serve the country through my party. And so it doesn't matter how long it takes, I will wait. And I think that should be a lesson for all of us young politicians who have started, the new ones who want to come in, to sometimes bid your time and wait, not to rush to make decisions that you regret, later. Yeah. So
at that time, did you have an assurance that Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu would retire and not go again?
No, not at all.
You were not sure of that?
No, I wasn't sure.
So when they were asking you to bid your time and probably wait for your turn,
yes,
you were not sure it would be this particular election?
No, I wasn't sure at all. In fact, and I must say this, until we filed the nomination forms, once we filed the nomination forms in 2024, that was 2023.
2023, yeah.
For the 2024 general primaries.
The primaries.
I didn't know Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu wasn't going to contest because he has said at some point that he's considering, and that some party people were still pushing him to contest. So I don't know. The whole of the period, I knew that if I had to contest, I may contest him. So I was preparing to contest
this
him.
Time you were not going to back down?
Well, I had made up my mind to contest, and at least I believe that the party was going to be fair to me. And I had told some of the party leadership that, you know what, it's okay. You let me go and contest. If I lose, it's my own money. Let me go and lose. It's fine. But to continue to deny me the opportunity to contest will not be right for the party, But Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu, as I said, a very good man who has served his party well, served his nation, giving 28 years of his life to the nation. I always salute him. He's done very well. I always say, from a grateful nation, we will thank him. From a grateful constituency, from a grateful party, we thank him for his service to the nation. I met him in Parliament recently, went to greet him. And the thing I keep hearing since I've been to Parliament, once they know that I'm from some, you have a big shoe to fill. I told him, and we had a good laugh about it. But again, so for me, the lesson is that no matter what, nobody is an enemy. He never supported me. He had his candidate. But once we finished with the election, I believe that all those things went away. I went to his house, and I went to thank him for his leadership, and we worked together to be able to get at least one of the highest voter turnouts in the region. Even though the general voter turnout was low, I believe that our 67% was above the regional and national average. So it's because we came together to work as a team. That's how we were able to achieve that.
Well, I guess it all paid off eventually, didn't it?
Well, I mean, you can say so. You can say so because here I am, a member of parliament for Suame. I'm looking at the next 4 years, serving my people, serving my nation, doing my bit to push the country to where we all want it to be.
What did you tell yourself in Parliament when you were being sworn in and you were reciting the oath?
Well, I mean, that's an interesting question. I was just asking myself, wow, is this really real?
Is it real?
And I keep saying, is the weight of the office. I don't take it lightly at all, because look at the number of people in this country, over 30 million people, and a select few of 276 are brought together to make laws, hold government accountable, and more or less ensure that the nation moves to its destination. It's a big deal. It's a big honor, and I believe that anybody who has the opportunity to serve your nation, no matter where you find yourself, you have to do your best to serve the nation and serve it well.
What was the first thing that struck you when you entered Parliament?
It's not as big as you see it on television. But you know, I I used to go to Parliament when I was in university.
Okay.
But we sit at the public gallery.
The
I
gallery,
remember those
yeah.
days, go and see Akufo-Addo, Christine Churchill, Mele Tego,
Yeah.
argue. This is 99, 2000, 2001. So I used to go there, but sit in the public gallery. But to sit in the chamber itself,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not as big as you see it on television.
What did you like about the proceedings and the things that happened probably in the first couple of days in Parliament?
Yeah, very solemn. And you don't get to see when the speaker is coming to the chambers, the chamber, sorry. The chambers, as a lawyer, chambers is always
the chamber now confuses you whether the legal chambers or
when the speaker is coming to the chamber, it's very solemn. Everybody, so wherever you are, whether you are in the open space or whether there's a little canteen there, whether you are the ones, you see that the speaker is coming with a mace ahead of him. We all stand up in silence, and it's very, very interesting. When the maze moves with the speaker, it is the authority of Parliament, and it's very, very solemn period.
Yeah.
When you see that happening until the speaker gets in, and then we sit down. It's very interesting when when we sit in the chamber without the maze. It is not Parliament properly so constituted.
Right.
And so these things, you see them on television, you think that, what is that thing sitting there? It means a lot.
Yeah.
It is the authority of Parliament. When it sits, then Parliament has properly sit. And so you see that when we are swearing the president and we take it to the Independence Square, you have to go with the speaker and the maze so that Parliament will be properly constituted, because the president will have to swear in the presence of Parliament. So you have to take the maze there for all of that to be done. So it's beautiful. Very.
I see that smile on your face and the grin. Like I'm seeing this, fresher who is really excited about his new school.
You wait until the senior start home.
I know.
And then you want to go back home.
But no, I mean, I'm really excited for you, knowing all that you had to go through to get to where you are. But we'll get to talk about really at what point the politics came in. But you've been a lawyer for many years, well over, 15, 16 years in the legal fraternity. But where did you grow up? Where are you from? Are you from Suame?
Yes. So,
did you play around the magazine?
Oh, yes. I know how to weld the coal pot and all of that.
Oh, that's right.
Yes. So I come from a town within the Suame constituency called Bremai.
Bremai, okay.
Bremai is also very famous because it hosts the Asante Mausoleum. That is where we bury the royals of Asante. And so Bremai is a very unique place in the history of the Ashanti people. So that's where my mother comes from. My father comes from a small town near Efijase called Banko.
Okay.
And so very small, but I guess very beautiful. I've been there just about twice. But I spent all my time growing up in the Suame constituency in Bremai, very small town. I attended all the RCs and the LAs, you can think of. So West, I attended Bremai RC school in Bremai from class 1 to 6, and then after that went to State Boys, which is also at the Suame roundabout. So I grew up in Suame.
Yeah.
So,
what were your parents into?
Well, so my father was a cocoa farmer. My mother was a petty trader. So some of us appearing on this stage is really unlikely. If you look at our history, I believe I'm not the most likely person to be sitting here if you look at my history. But for me, it's a story to be told later, just for people to know that it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter who your parents are or what your parents do. There are two things they gave me, which I believe that every parent should be able to give to his or her child. They gave me Christ and education. So they were poor people, but the two most valuable things, especially my mother gave to me, was school. Made sure I went through school. And then made sure every evening I was in church learning catechism, or Sunday I have to be in church. I became a mass boy. I used to serve mass.
Oh, wow.
And that really helped me. It shaped me when I got into secondary school, I went to Kumasi Academy, and Kumaka, yes,
that's right.
Yes. Right, straight went into the Scripture Union.
Oh, okay.
And I played active role from 1 to 3, and it made a lot of difference in my life. I could have been just like anybody because Suame is tough, it's rough,
How do you mean?
Yeah, Suame is tough. The magazine is very tough place for young people. If you go to magazine all the time, more than likely you might abandon school. Young men in my community, unfortunately, and I'm praying, I'm working hard to take them away from drugs. If you're not careful, you end up doing drugs. That's why. So when I say it's tough,
yeah,
very difficult place. So because of the help my mother gave me, making sure that I go to school, making sure that every evening there's a program in church for me to attend, it took me away from all the bad stuff you can think of. And as a result of that, I managed to go through life successfully until I got to university, where I became independent, and now I could make decisions for myself. And not just my parents, my siblings also played very, very important roles in my life. I'm the last of my father's 24 children.
You had 24 children?
Yes, my father. And my mother's 10 children.
Wow.
So growing up, I had a lot of these siblings around to also guard and guide me, on the right path.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Last of 24.
Yes. The cocoa farmer did really well.
Papa was a rolling stone.
Oh, yes.
I see.
He was a driver too at a point.
Yeah.
And so he was driving around, and everywhere he would
Don't let the drivers hear you say this. They will now say you are confirming the things they have been saying.
But I'm saying this about my father because it's true.
Drivers, calm down. No need to be angry, drivers. Anyway, if you're listening in and you want to send in a message, you can send us a WhatsApp on 055-1111997. I'm here with Member of Parliament for the Suame constituency, Honorable Lawyer John Darko, and of course we're getting to know a little bit more about him. So tell me, from the streets of Suame magazine, I've been exposed to the hard life, the drugs of Suame and whatnot. What kind of profession did you want to do as a child, and what were you exposed to when it comes to career choices?
That's very interesting because, again, my mother was illiterate. I live with my mother. My father, I should say, was absent in my life. So I live with my mom. My mom was an illiterate and last born. Growing up, every decision, even which school to attend, I had to make all these decisions by myself.
Oh,
yes. And really, I can say I wasn't exposed to anything. I didn't know any lawyer in my family, no doctor in my family. At least my sister had become a nurse, and she's in Tema listening to me, I guess. And at least she was a lot of inspiration for me. But I wasn't exposed to any profession. But I could read and then at least watch news and hear a lot of stuff around. But I remember one thing growing up I really wanted to do, because I heard it was so beautiful, Vice Chancellor.
Oh, I see.
It sounded so beautiful in my ears, I wanted to be a Vice Chancellor of a university. I don't know how to get there, though.
Yeah.
All I knew was that I wanted to be a Vice Chancellor. But once I entered secondary school, and I took literature and history and government class.
Okay.
I began to appreciate, especially, so I enjoyed government as a subject. I enjoyed history. So I began to, read about lawyers and all of that. And so finally, when I finished uni, I really wanted to do the law straight away. But at the time, in 1999, you couldn't do that. So you had to do first degree first. Okay. So I decided that, look, I'll go and read political science.
Okay.
And then after that, I can go and read the law. And that's what I did. So I read political science in Legon for 4 years. And then thereafter, I worked with Mobil Oil at the time.
Okay.
I did my service there, and I worked there for 1 year. And so 2005, I applied to the Legon Law School, and then I got in. So in terms of career choice, I would say that it just happened.
It just happened,
and I just came to love the law because of some of the news I read and the books I read, but not that I was exposed to any of these in my family.
Right. Now, you decided to do a master's and LLM in energy, environmental, and natural resources.
Yes.
That's quite an interesting choice.
Yeah, because you see, when we were in school in 2006, Ghana struck oil in commercial quantities. And so whilst we were in law school, I decided that, look, this is an area I want to get in. And mind you, I had worked with Mobil.
Okay.
I had worked with Mobil between 2003 to 2005. And so I love the whole oil business stuff. So the oil and commercial quantities, I decided that, look, I want to pursue my master's in this area.
Oh, right.
And so once I finished school in 2009, in fact, so before that, I applied to University of Houston and University of Calgary to read masters in oil and gas, but I preferred the offer from University of Houston because they gave me a scholarship. There were these two institutions, Association of International Petroleum Negotiators, and then Rocky Mineral Law Foundation. They also offered to give me a scholarship. So I chose to go to University of Houston for the master. And the three courses are very important and interrelated. It's Masters of Law, but it's energy, environment, and natural resources.
Okay, yeah.
And Houston is the center of the global energy. And so I enjoyed the course, very interesting. And then after that, I got lucky to work with Global Gas Oil Company. And it was a Nigerian company based in the heart of Houston. I worked with them for about a year and a half before I decided, look, this is not what I want to do. I want to go back home and then go serve my people in a different capacity.
Serve which people exactly?
My Suame people and the people of Ghana in the capacity I am doing right now. It takes a lot to make that decision because, look, my friends, I travel with a lot of friends to the United States. Some of them had gone to school, and some of them had relocated. One of my best friends, my brothers, I should say, Vladimir Ndebugri, we were in school together. And when we finished, we all went to the States. I was in school. He went to start business in Maryland. And Vladimir would tell me, John, come on, let's stay here. Let's make money together. I tell Vlad, look, Vlad, I mean, it's okay. It's good to make money, but my heart is not here. I want to go back home. I want to go into Ghana politics. Because I always say that if you believe you have something good to offer, come and offer it. Because if you don't do it, somebody will do it.
Okay. I'm still trying to understand that situation you're describing now.
Yes.
Because this is you who, you've gone to law school, you've got an opportunity to do your master's out there. At the time, you had not done active politics.
No.
You weren't doing anything politics related.
Yes.
Right?
You can say that.
Then something tells you that I want to go back home.
Yes.
And serve my people, and I'm still thinking which people and in what and in what role? What was it? Where from that inspiration?
Sometimes, I mean, maybe you may have to get that. You could call it popo bribri, right? You may have to get that popo bribri before you can understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just felt I needed to go back home.
Was it a pull factor or a push factor?
Okay, depending on where you are. So I'm in the United States.
Yes.
So it was a pull.
It was a pull
to come back to Ghana.
Okay.
Because life in the US, I can say, was very comfortable. Look, especially with this, my brother I'm talking about, Vlad, we were having a very good time and very good business in the States. I had no reason to come to Ghana, and my life, I believe, would have been better, in terms of money. But in terms of fulfillment, I'm sure I would have, fallen short. I believe that I'm fulfilled in this capacity I am right now, even though I should say I am poor. You know, I mean,
I see.
it's something. I think you may have to get that call to be able to understand or appreciate what I'm saying.
Okay.
I just didn't want to stay in the stage again.
But you see, this is 20 years ago, and since our conversation, we've not touched on the political inspiration.
Yes.
So let's talk about the political inspiration. Is it as divine as you just explained it, or there was something that drew you to politics?
Okay, so I will say this. You know, I told you when we were in Legon, first year, second year, third year, I will take trot from Legon to go to Parliament to just go and watch proceedings.
Mm.
So honestly speaking, people like Nana Akufo-Addo, I mentioned Christine Churchill,
Yeah.
I mentioned Teresa Tego, those times, and Kyei Mensah.
Kyei Mensah, yes.
I enjoyed their delivery. I enjoyed how they argued in Parliament. And I think that maybe that is where I got the inspiration from.
Okay.
That these guys are doing something great. And remember, especially for when I was in first, it's 1999, they were in opposition. They were in opposition and they were fighting so hard. And so during the campaign, we will follow them from university. They will bring buses. Sometimes we'll go to Volta region. We'll go to other parts of the country to follow them, listening to them. I was with them when Aliu Mama was brought out. I think this was a Mauli. Yes, Mauli school in Volta region. So many places. So I followed the politics and I can't say politics is my family.
Yeah.
Later, I realized that my senior brother also were doing politics, but definitely that senior brother wasn't the inspiration. It was the Akufo-Addos and the Kyei Mensahs, Christine Churchill, those people who really inspired me and made me kind of fall in love with the politics.
Okay.
So I think I can say that.
Well, good stuff. Well, lots of messages are coming in now. Let me just share some of them with you. This one here says, wow, I was with Honorable John Darko at the University of Ghana, Legon, Pentecostals Union.
Yes.
Brother. That's from Atubuche.
Yes.
Yeah. Good evening, Lexus. Congratulations to Mr. Darko and Suame. Is lucky to have him as their MP. From Faustina, a.k.a. Steve's best friend. Lawyer will get it. Okay. Lex is a great guy you have there from a brother, Zo. I hope I got that right as well. Yeah. All right, 055-111-11997. Let's talk about getting into December elections 2024. Of course, Suame constituency is a stronghold of the NPP.
Yes.
Honorable Kyei Mensah Bonsu has been on that seat since 1996,
yes.
Literally. So if you were on the ticket of the NPP, it was a foregone conclusion that you were going to be the member of parliament. So I'm not sure you really had any, palpitations before the elections. Did you?
Well, not entirely. But I was worried about my presidential candidate.
Oh, I see. Yes. That's what you were worried about.
Yes, I was worried about.
Worried? Why were you worried?
Yeah, I mean, of course, during the election, we saw that a lot of people had difficulty. In my constituency, I think I had 1,000 more votes than my presidential candidate, and that's not what I was expecting.
Okay.
The information out there, people had difficulty, accepting, to vote for, the party and its presidential candidate. You see, so for those of us who are going to parliament, they saw us differently. They saw us as family members, in our various constituencies or communities.
Okay.
And so they could relate to us that even though I'm angry at NPP, even though I don't want to vote for NPP, because we went to school together, because we live in the same neighborhood, because you are my brother, I'll come and vote for you.
Okay.
So I realized that we'll do a lot of house to house, and people say, lawyer, what about the Ebekwakoto? What is I can't the Ebekwakoto? So I realized that people had difficulty coming out. There was a lot of enthusiasm gap, going to the 2024 election, and for any political party, that's concerning. So when I say I was ready for my presidential candidate, it was because of the information I was getting, and so I was out there campaigning day and night to get people out to vote. the good thing was that if they came out, they were going to vote for Dr. Bawumia.
Okay.
So the difficulty was to bring them out to vote.
So is it safe to say that you somewhat could tell that the NPP will struggle in the presidential elections?
Yes. I mean,
you could tell.
That the party, I think you choose your words carefully, that the party could struggle because the enthusiasm was not there as we had in 2020 and 2016. Yeah, and in 2016, for instance, people came out, brought money to sponsor the party. When it came to the organization of the elections, there are people who said, look, this polling station, every cost associated with this polling station on the day of election, I'm taking that. And we had a situation that coming into this election, those people who had come out to sponsor the party in 2016 were like, this election, John, I don't know whether I will go and vote. So that was concerning.
Yeah.
Because somebody who has sponsored the party, if he's thinking twice before he goes out to vote, that, that was really concerning.
So were you expecting, even though you were not expecting maybe the presidential candidate to do as well, or to do well, were you surprised about the gravity and the margin of the loss?
I was actually shocked. You see, I'm a very pragmatist. When I saw the polls there was a poll from one of the pollsters.
Is it Musa?
No, not Musa.
Okay.
One of the pollsters, and he said that we were going to go to runoff. Then I knew that there was a problem because I thought that pollster would pull more NPP. Polling, there are so many ways of polling, And I thought that gentleman had pulled a lot more NPP people. So when he said that we'll go into runoff, I knew, well, we had a problem. But I didn't think that we were going to lose this heavily. And even with the parliament, never thought that we were going to have this situation. In fact, we knew the general election, the presidential, would be difficult somewhat, but we thought that we were going to get at least the House. We were going to win majority in the House. And so it came as a big shock. If you look at the traditional seats we lost. I also West Wogon, Esikado, Ketan. You look at Adjasafo and even Ashanti region. Akrufrum, we are losing Akrufrum. I mean, big deal.
Yeah.
We are losing Sunyani, East Sunyani, West Doma. These are traditional NPP seats. And even here, this constituency, And so it was really shocking. But
what do you think caused it?
I don't want to hazard a guess. And this is because the party has set up a fact-finding committee to really come up with the real reasons. I believe that we are going to be truthful to ourselves. I believe that we're going to take the information as it is. I believe that we're not going to change what we find on the field. So that once...
But from where you sit, maybe per your assertion, I mean, if you look at it from where you sit, what do you think could have probably contributed to the loss?
Well, I mean, okay, so I've looked at the global elections since COVID, all right? Look, check all the elections since COVID. Take Nigeria out. All the governments in power lost the elections. Check. You can Google that now. So you take Nigeria out. All the governments which were in power during the COVID, they've lost elections, and they've lost bigly, to quote Donald Trump. So we look at the UK, look at the Conservatives, look at how they lost. All right? And so the global economic downturn affected everybody, and Ghana wasn't an exception. And why? I don't blame Ghanaians. Akufo-Addo has done so much, I believe, in terms of infrastructure development. But people always look at their pockets. And why not? Like we always say, you want to be able to afford the basic necessities of life, So That, for me, is a global view.
Okay.
There may be local, of course, there will be local reasons, and that is why I say I don't want to hazard a guess when it comes to that. I believe that you should allow the parties committee to work.
Okay. A few days ago, you led the minority in Parliament to at a press conference to encourage the former appointees of the former government to boycott the invitations of the Operation Recover All Loot Oral Committee. You actually described the committee as unconstitutional. And so you and a few of your minority members thought that, look, it's not a good idea. It is troubling and all. What makes you say so?
Well, I mean, before we came to oral, we had done that press conference to press home some of the troubling issues we had at the appointment committee. So oral was just one of the things we said. At the press conference addressed the issues we faced at the appointment committee, where the chairman of the appointment committee will not allow us to ask our questions, and when we managed to ask the questions, won't allow the nominees to answer. And so we brought that to the people of Ghana and made them aware of some of the answers the people gave, which were inconsistent with their position when they were in opposition and when they were campaigning. Yeah. So we brought that up, and the question of Aura also came up, and I had to address them. And look, the point is very simple. Between December 7th, and let's say the election was declared, the result was declared December 9th, and 7th December, the president had no executive authority to set up any committee to investigate anybody. And so to set up a committee, and now they are saying that they are not to investigate, but they are there to receive information, they are there to collect data on people. We are saying that if you are not sworn in, president-elect has no power, has no authority to set up committees to collect information on people or to, as it were, investigate people. And that is what we put across. And we wanted the people of Ghana to understand that, look, we are a constitutional democracy. We work within our constitution. We work within the confines of the law. If you feel strongly about corruption and corruption-related issues, wait. When you become president, as he has become right now, he can set up all the committees. And our advice and our point was that, look, there are all these state institutions that have the resources, have the experiences, have what it takes to engage in any investigation you so wish. What was that haste about? His Excellency the President could have just waited and do what he is doing, what he did at the time. Okay. Do that right now. Now you have NIB, big institution. They have their ranks, they have their members across the length and breadth of this country. You can use them to collect any information you want.
But these institutions have been in existence the whole time, and still corruption is rife.
Oh, so is it a case that after Ora there will be no corruption in Ghana? Is that what they're going to use to fight corruption in this country? You don't set up parallel institutions to fight corruption. You've got to use these institutions. Look, we have always been preaching that we need to build institutions, not human beings, not individuals. They are saying that after the Attorney General is sworn in, that will be the end of that aura. I don't know whether it's true or not. But then what happens if they gain any experience?
So why don't you wait and find out?
Wait, I'm saying that if whatever experience or whatever they are gathering, what are they going to do with it? They are giving it to what the Attorney General. So why couldn't we give the whole exercise to the police? What is the purpose of the police CID? What is the purpose of the IOCO? What is the purpose of special prosecutor? What is the purpose of all these constitutionally established bodies who have the mandates, who have the resources, who have the requisite human personnel to do this work? What happened to them? Why are you setting this NDC appendage about harassing individuals? Look, for me, it's troubling because since the establishment of
the former members of the government worried?
Not worried at all. But you see, the fact that they are not worried doesn't mean that they should shut up when illegality is going on. I mean,
I'm asking because you're not a former member of the government.
No.
So I have a feeling it's easy for you to say.
Yes, but I believe that former members of government don't have any fears at all.
Okay,
and look,
that's good.
If there's anybody to be feared, or any group of people to be feared, it should be, for instance, the NIB, the National Investigative Bureau.
Okay.
It should be the police.
Yeah.
It should be the Yokos. It should be the SP who have what it takes to actually arrest them, put them behind bars, and denying them of their liberties. Those are the people who are afraid, not this group of NDC people put together to go around to harass people.
Okay, John, would hold our horses on that one, because I know it's still developing.
Yes,
it's still developing, but it's been really good spending time with you. Before we actually wrap up, I just want to find out. You've had a very colorful life journey, from the legal fraternity, working with the environment and all, as a lecturer as well.
Yes.
I'm sure many of your students are listening right now.
Yes. And I have some of them in my, even in Parliament.
Interesting. Yeah, those you have been giving low marks, they are listening to you. And of course, now in Parliament, what's the biggest lesson life has taught you?
Well, be humble and bid your time. Be humble, bid your time. But my advice to anybody, as I said earlier on, growing up, take two things. If maybe not Christianity, but your faith. I will preach Christ because I'm a Christian. Take your faith very well. I make sure that you whatever you believe in, you do it well. So for me, take Christ very well, and go to school.
Okay.
If you have these two things, there's no mountain too high for you.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm sure you'd want to say hello to your wife as well. I know she's listening, isn't she?
Well, so Suame's Darko, Mrs. She's the head of legal of Star Assurance.
Oh, nice.
I went to Kumasi Academy, a popular school. My wife is a gay.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm a proud member of.
How did you land here?
Law school. I met her at law school. In fact, I always say this. The first time I met her at Ghana Law School. I told her that I was going to marry her.
Wow.
She didn't believe it. But
and here you are.
It's been a very
sharpshooter.
Nice and beautiful journey.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Great talking to you.
Thank you, my brother.
And I say congratulations once again. May you have a great journey this 4 years and excel in all that you do. Yeah,
I appreciate this, man.
All right. Thank you so much. Honorable John Darko, the Member of Parliament for the Suame constituency on Personality Profile. Uncle Bile is seated and he will be on your radio right after the news at 8. Have a good evening.